As a real estate agent, I have a fiduciary responsibility to my clients. There's a class of people who are professional fiduciaries who take on the role of helping their clients in different matters in probate. And very often it involves being an administrator or executor of an estate. And so I'm really fortunate today to have a professional fiduciary, Rich Barsumian, who's based here in Southern California. Rich, thanks so much for taking time with us today.
Thank you, Bill. I look forward to talking to you, and I'm glad you're taking time to interview me.
So tell me, how did you get into the business of being a professional fiduciary?
I got into it because of family. I fortunately, unfortunately, had the same situation I see at work all the time, where the need comes for somebody to take care of a elderly relative who's not able to care for themselves. And I was chosen and appointed to step up to the plate and take on that responsibility.
So the most common cases that I find a professional fiduciary is hired is administering trusts and estates when there's probate and or conservatorship. So those kind of the main areas that you get involved with?
That is the basis of my career. I do trusts, estates, and conservatorships for special needs, trust fund beneficiaries, and deceased individuals.
Got it. So let's talk about trust. Is it just a case of somebody who doesn't want to do the work and they hire you as a professional, or is it because there's conflicting parties and they need somebody to make those decisions? Why would somebody reach out to you to bring you into a case?
The most common scenario I see is the parents make what seems like good decision, but is often a bad decision, of putting one of the children in charge of administering their estate after they die. While their heart is in the right place, it tears families apart. There's long-term resentment between brothers and sisters or families, and there's a lack of trust. I, as a professional neutral, don't have a dog in the fight. I come in with the only loyalty is to the trust. Whatever mom and dad said in the trust is the only thing I do. I don't have any long-term relationship or resentment with the family, so it doesn't bother me.
And the same with the probate estate, where somebody along the way appointed somebody's a will or in the will to execute it, or didn't, and they need an administrator, and they look for somebody to be impartial. Maybe there's I see most commonly two warring siblings, and the attorneys get them to agree on a third party being the fiduciary.
It's always warring people. It could be just one warring person, or it could be a whole family. Everybody thinks it's some kind of honor that, mom appointed me, like she loved me more or something. What people don't realize until they're in it and doing it is it's a burden. It is hard work. It is a thankless job. And people, every case, it seems like long lost relatives come out of the woodwork to take shots at each other. It's like, I haven't heard from my cousin in 20 years, but all of a sudden he's showing up to court to say I'm a thief, kind of thing. Every family has one, and I'm often surprised as to how similar each case is with that idea.
It's so interesting you say this. I'm actually a fiduciary on a probate where one of the heirs knew me through my work in real estate, had a realtor they went to deal with the property, but asked me if I'd be the fiduciary. And legally I can do one a year without being licensed. I thought I would learn a lot. Gee, what a great educational experience. So I did it.
Oh, you'll learn a lot.
I'm learning a lot, Rich. And one thing I'm learning is I never want to do that again. I think next time I'm just gonna give them your name and number, or call you up and say, help, take this off my desk. So it is a lot of detail. I think sometimes you hit on the head, people think of it as being some big honor. It's a lot of detail, right? There's steps, there's documentation. How do you communicate with people? It seemed to me it's very administrative and very detail oriented.
It's not something easy to do on the fly as a weekend commitment. If you want to work a full-time job and do this on the weekends, one of those two things is going to suffer. And the other thing that a professional has is a network of people. I've learned things that would not even have been on my radar of how to handle situations before I got into this. Like, how do you get artwork appraised? How do you move a large painting? If there is a large, expensive painting, how do you move that from the decedent's house into safe storage. It's not something you can figure out in an afternoon. It's something you learn over time.
Mm.
And it's not something and it has to be done right. It has to be done right because there's a lot of liability in it.
Yeah, I learned that one. I also learned pianos. Pianos aren't worth as much as you would think if you have to move the piano, right? Because the cost of moving it is more than the value of the piano in many cases.
I see that a lot. I see
Yeah,
the family thinks that the family heirlooms are worth a fortune. I'm
correct.
heartbroken to be told it looks nice, but nobody's going to give you a lot of money for it.
Right, right. So I noticed in your education bio, I also went to Pepperdine for my graduate business
Go
education.
Waves.
That I wasn't as proud because you're undergraduate. So I think undergraduate, you're a little more enthusiastic. Most beautiful campus in America, by the way. I've been to a lot, and Pepperdine is beautiful. But I know you have education specifically in dispute resolution. Tell me about how do you learn about dispute resolution?
I had a business advisor tell me when I was going to get my MBA, I said, here are the choices of what I could do: accounting, finance, or dispute resolution. And he told me, I want you to do dispute resolution because I want you to be able to have the skill that even if you and I have a disagreement, we can still come to a final resolution and make the deal. I went to the Strauss Institute of Dispute Resolution as part of my MBA program. I am not a lawyer, but I went to the Strauss Institute for Dispute Resolution, and that was my major for my MBA. I did not realize how big of a benefit that would be in my current career, to assist my ability to have warring people, be able to come to a final resolution and have everybody walk away reasonably satisfied.
Right.
I was able to learn a skill that it's not one person defeats the other and the loser gets smashed. It's they're both reasonably satisfied at the end. I learned some incredible skills for my personal life as well as for my career, because that is definitely something that is pertinent to my career, is dispute resolution.
Wow. Now you married?
I am not.
So there you go. Just one way to avoid disputes, avoid getting into contracts. I'm married, so dispute resolution. I feel like I have 36 years experience in that. I don't know I have any degrees in it, but it does seem that in my experience in dealing with probates and trusts litigation, that and I'm a real estate broker. I'm not an attorney, but it seems that there's two types of people. One that feel like they're hiring their bully to beat the other bully up, and there's other people who are just trying to get through the process and get what they deserve and or get what mom or dad wanted them to have. The latter, there's room in order to come to some resolution. It seems like the ones who want to emotionally work out their 50 years of hatred for their sibling, how do you ever get close to resolving those disputes? It just seems like such a challenge.
Slowly. Some people, we often will give a cost benefit analysis of, say, look, if you guys want a war about this and tie up the whole thing, if real estate prices drop and we can't sell the house because you're still arguing over the trash in the house, we can do that, but it's going to cost you money.
Right.
They understand that, but they still want to give it to their brother. It's going to cost them money. It's easier to have them understand we're looking to resolve this. We're looking to have everybody feel like a winner. And a lot of people will use the court system or what they're entitled to as a sword and to hurt other people because, back in 1974, my brother didn't share the pail with me in the sandbox. And I'm still upset. And here's my final chance to get back at him.
Right.
So people definitely do that. Yes.
Seems to me that, and again, I'm not, educated in the field, and I'm not a professional fiduciary, but I'm a fiduciary and I'm a professional. It seems to me the number one thing I try to focus on is being patient. That sometimes both parties seem intransient on the phone at that moment. You hang up the phone, and sometimes I'll just call my client and say, let's let it sit for a day or two. Just because they said no now doesn't mean they won't. Now, we all have deadlines in certain parts of our business. Is patience a key part of this process? And what else would you counsel people who your clients have to deal with these situations in order to help resolve disputes rather than inflame them?
Patience is definitely necessary because everything having to do with the court system is slow and expensive. That's just the way it is with the courts. So,
Right.
you get a few minutes in front of a judge, and then they say, come back in 8 weeks. And you get to sit on that. And in that time, you have to cool down
Right.
because you can't stay in a rage like that because it's painful and expensive. So yes, patience is definitely necessary, and it doesn't come right away. Sometimes it has to be beaten into you, but it will sooner or later.
Now we all have unreasonable customers at times. I have customers who apologize for being unreasonable, say, look, I deal with unreasonable people all day long. That's fine with me. We all have different ways of dealing with it. My negative way is I overeat. At least I don't do drugs or alcohol. But the positive way is taking some deep breaths, going for a walk, exercise. What do you do to help you keep your eye on the ball with clients rather than get caught up in the drama or emotions that they want to bring you into?
I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't, I'm not a beneficiary on any of the things I'm working on. So I just look for a resolution to distribute the assets the way the settler described. That's my obligation, and that's what I'm expected to do. That's my job. I get paid to solve people's problems.
Hmm.
Problems are often family disputes, which I can't resolve, but I can get them across the goal line.
So, taking off your fiduciary hat for a second, put on your businessman hat, who happens to be a professional fiduciary. What, if anything, do you do to develop your business, or does it just come to you based on word of mouth and referral?
My fiduciary business,
What do you do to generate more business in that field, or do you need to? Does it just come to you, or are there certain activities that you do to generate new business for yourself?
I'm involved with the Professional Fiduciaries Association of California. It is a organization that provides education for fiduciaries, keeps us up on legislation and laws, and keeps us on the right path. I do a lot of service work for them. It is a organization I've been involved with since before I was a fiduciary, and it has kept me in good stead. I am able to meet other fiduciaries and learn from their experience, as well as have my continuing education. I've benefited incredibly from the classes that we are required to take to keep our license active.
And now I do know there's a chapter in Long Beach. Is that the one that you participate in?
I definitely go to the Long Beach meetings. I'm currently the president of the southern region of PFAC. So
Oh.
I live by LAX, but I do indeed attend the Long Beach meetings.
That's a great meeting. I used to work in Signal Hill. It was very convenient. Now it's not quite so convenient, but I know I went there and I would see really top attorneys and top vendors with really high powered information. I learned a lot there. So I found that a great meeting, and I encourage people who look to work with fiduciaries. So turning that around a little bit, for somebody who's looking to work with fiduciaries, real estate agents or other vendors. I know when I went there were quite a few wealth management companies and other vendors. Obviously, going to the event, going to the organization and supporting it is a key part. What else would you recommend if you had a friend or associate looking to establish business with professional fiduciaries? What would you recommend them to do as far as their business development?
Definitely get involved with PFAC. Everybody in PFAC is always looking to strengthen the Rolodex. And I have different kinds of vendors. If I need a lawyer who's just the cross the T's and dot the I's kind of lawyer, I have my person for that. If I need a lawyer that's heavy litigation, like this family is going to be fighting, I need a bulldog of a lawyer, I have my lawyer for that. If I have an easy real estate case, I have an easy real estate person, that sort of thing. So we're always looking to expand our Rolodex and network with more people. But PFAC is definitely a good organization to be involved with.
So the most common person calling you would be an attorney, or would it be a family who's looking for help as a fiduciary?
Both. I get a lot of calls from attorneys who say, this family came to me and we need a neutral. or somebody has passed away, or in the case of a conservatorship, somebody has resigned, or this person is going to be conserved. I also have families call me with a wide range of issues. And if it's something that I can help them with, I will do that. If it's something where they need to be referred to a lawyer, I will have them talk to a lawyer. I do not practice any kind of law or write trusts or anything, but if somebody brings that issue to me, I could definitely make a referral.
Got it. And so the best way to get in touch with you, your website is barsumian.com. That's BARSUMIAN.com. And right on the front page, you have a phone number, 424-261-1917. I'll put both those in the description. Rich, thank you so much for your service to PFAC, which again, like I said, I've been to their meetings. It's a great organization. Anybody wants to learn about the business, it's a great place to start or to continue and build your Rolodex. And thank you for taking time today to help educate my population.
Thank you for having me, Bill. It's good to see you.